All right, sketch. This is an odd review. I don't normally review Angel Studios movies, but I figured I would review it because I saw this movie on accident. Let me explain. I would, summer times, and I have a younger cousin who I could take to the movies. I have free movie tickets, right? I work at a theater. If you know my videos, I mention that a lot, just because it's relevant to videos I talk about. Anyways, I wanted to take him to go see Superman because I forgot to take him the three other times we watched the movie. But anyways, I hadn't taken him to do that, and then I saw there was a Monday Night Mystery movie and it was rated PG, and he's a little bit younger, so I was like, okay, well, it's I'm guessing, right, because what they do with these Monday Night Mystery movies is they give you a runtime and a rating. That's all you really have. I think they also do the genre sometimes, like so it said suspense. So it's like so my thought was, okay, it's probably Bad Guys 2 that comes out this weekend. That would make sense. If it's not that, it's Freakier Friday. So, movie that some enjoyment will be had, right? No, it was neither of those movies, and it was kind of, and I actually got told in advance it's neither of those movies, and I was kind of thinking, well, what is it then? Then when I saw what it was, we were both like looking at ourselves like, oh man. And he didn't really know anything about the movie. I did. I don't, because it's my job to be really into that world. I was so like just when I saw that Jesus animated movie Angel Studios has come out, the traditional animation by the way, and that looks great. So I'll probably watch that one. But normally I don't review Angel Studios movies. I saw that and I thought, wow, okay, this movie doesn't look good, but animation's nice. But I knew from that trailer being there, I was like, this is sketch. That's what this is. This movie's really bad. Me and him, keep in mind, this kid is 12. And even he saw the flaws in this movie. Like, it was just not good. The basically premise of this movie is it is a movie about this dad who has two kids, a son and a daughter, and this whole family's getting ready to move. They're in this grieving situation where, the mom's passing was clearly recent, or, I don't think they ever state how long it was, but they're dealing with that pain of losing and that loss. And the one daughter is drawing these pictures that are pretty violent, and disturbing and kind of fucked up, right? And so the parents at school are getting concerned, or not parents at school, but teachers, principal, whatever, people at school are getting concerned. Dad's getting concerned. He's trying to help out, kind of neglecting his other son, not on purpose, but just because he's dealing with one child that's having major issues, he's forgetting about the other one. And through the circumstances of this movie, her drawings start coming to life, and now they must learn to come to closer together as a family. Basically, that's the concept of the movie. This movie didn't work for a few reasons. First of all, this movie's PG. The drawings that she draws and describes are violent. And so when you start coming to life, you think they're going to start killing people and there's going to be blood involved because her drawings have fucking blood involved. She point blank labels things as blood, but this isn't, and it doesn't have any of that. And it's just really confusing because if the goal of this movie was to have this heartfelt story about this daughter, this family really struggling with the loss of their mother, and she's drawing all these images as a coping mechanism, which is clearly what the movie's about, right? Then why is she drawing like really fucked up images with blood and shit that don't really represent her feelings? They're just really fucked up images that are really mean spirited. Like, genuinely, And then it's like, this movie tries to be a horror movie and kind of create the suspense of like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? But none of it worked because at some points in this movie they started playing that creepy music like, oh, stuff's gonna happen, and then it just wouldn't happen for like 30 minutes into the movie. It was very like, the best way to describe this movie is this is like if a conservative religious company made a Goosebumps episode. And that's what this movie is essentially. Because it tries to have scares and stuff like that, but also tries to have a heart and not be too scary because, religious people very much shun horror, so you can't push it too far. So it's this whole kind of like mix of something of like, you know, it's a very harmless movie, but it's not a good movie either, and you shouldn't watch it. It was a I, I was very bored by this movie. This is also a weird one to be released by Angel Studios because with Angel Studios they usually like put out like dramas or movies that have like kind of a heartful message that make or whatever they're trying to do, or something about history like with Bonifer or something like that. Stuff that kind of relates to things that conservatives kind of pretend to care about, or in some cases do, but a lot of them just pretend. Well, this movie is just kind of awkward in all this because it's not really any of that. It's very much this awkward movie about this topic that the older demographic that tends to go to these Angel Studios movies. Not really sure if they're going to connect with this one, and I don't really think it came together very well. Again, this is a very harmless movie, which is usually less than I can say with Angel Studio movies. They're very problematic movie messaging wise and just things that they have in them, which is why I don't review them. I think also Angel Studios, it's a very disgusting company. If you're, the Republican Party has kind of attacked other pieces of art for a long time for being quote unquote too political, while this literal company is making conservative movies, which in and of itself you cannot make a movie conservative without it being political. So just morally I'm very against this company. It's why I don't tend to review their movies. But again, I ended up seeing this one on accident, so I thought I would do a review. And yeah, here's what I thought of the movie. It was not good. Please don't go watch it and support this discussion company.